Hey Edmond, congratulations on your graduation. Wish I could be there with you to celebrate, but doggone it, I gotta stay here in Kona, Hawaii and look after Mom's condo. So anyway, again, congratulations. It's a huge milestone for you, one of the biggest in your life. So enjoy it. Hopefully you are celebrating it like crazy with your family and friends. By now you've received your card, and so hopefully you've had a chance to look in it and find 2 gift cards. You've got your Apple iTunes Store card and Amazon gift card. Now these are for you. You can use them any way you want. I just recall that when I was there in Sandpoint and had the pleasure of meeting you and your family, that when we were talking, you expressed an interest in DJing and how to mix music, and so I thought that that would be a fun gift for you for your graduation, is the secret to, or some of the secrets of DJing and how it's done. I got into DJing back in college, so about when I was your age. I had done it a little bit, but college opened up these amazing opportunities for me. There was a radio station at UAA that was looking for volunteers, and I was more than happy to help out. A DJ has essentially 2 elements. Number 1 is music, and number 2 is a way to move that music to the masses. So whether it's a small party in your dorm or broadcasting it out over your college radio campus, or Martin Garrix at a huge stadium, Ultra Music Festival, Tomorrowland, whatever the case may be, got to have 2 things: music and a way to get it to the people. Now, when I was DJing in college, we had records. CDs had just been invented. And we still used magnetic tape. And in fact, using that magnetic tape was how I first learned how to build mixes and remixes. And it all had to do with building a loop. I would record some beats that I liked onto a reel-to-reel, 2 reels running, and as it came across through the head, it would record the beats that I was playing. Then I would take the reels off and I would cut at either end so that I'd have a strip of magnetic tape about this long, and that represented about 16 beats, plus or minus. So what I'd have to do is I'd have to then loop it, splice it together using a little thing that we'd put the tape in, and we'd put a little piece of splicing tape over it, and I'd put it back in the reel-to-reel, and we had 2 of them, so I would put the reel-to-reels far enough away so that the tape would be tight, and I would just have one running, and it would run that loop over and over again. I would listen to it, and if the beat was off, then I would take the loop apart, cut a little bit off, tape it back together, and stick it back on the reel-to-reel. I'd keep doing that until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then 1 right after that. Once I had that, I knew I had a beat loop that I could use to produce remixing. Now, since then, computers have evolved to the point where they can take all of that away. So I have not cut a piece of magnetic tape in 25 years, like that. So we've come a long way from then. We're doing it all digitally now. Thank goodness. And so today I'm going to be teaching you the basics of mixing using the digital technology that's available so easily that you can put it on your phone or your tablet, whatever you want to use. That's good pineapple. Now, in most cases, When you're DJing, all you will do is play one song into another. And that's all you need to do. That's all that your audience is expecting you to do. Each song has what I call kind of a flight pattern. In the very beginning of a song, there's what I call gain or lift, kind of like an airplane. It starts from a dead stop and it starts running down the runway. Well, a song starts its run down the runway by progressively adding both sound, maybe instruments, adding instruments along, as well as volume. What I got used to was just practicing, listening for that lift, letting the song play, but then the song has to land at the end, right? It comes to a stop at some point. And so there's a gradual descent, also known as a fade. When I hear a song fading, then I know, okay, it's time for the next one to play. So as one song is fading, the other one is lifting, and they cross over each other. And it just takes practice kind of getting used to it, but there's a huge area of overlap. So what you're trying to do is not have dead space in between songs. Although some dances that you may end up hosting, they will want dead space, especially if it's like a ballroom dance where somebody went and asked someone else to dance, they dance, and then they want to take that person back to their seat. So it kind of depends on the venue, depends on the type of dance that you're doing. The other type of mixing that's more popular now is actually mixing one song into another. In the 90s, with the rave scene, young adults found that they could actually achieve a runner's high through dancing. You have to go for a ways. You have to get your heart rate up, and that gets the endorphins going and the adrenaline going. And then you don't need alcohol, don't need drugs. It's a completely healthy way to achieve a euphoric experience with a group of people that are dancing around you. So DJs began what's known as beat matching in order to keep the songs going so that people don't stop dancing. In order to do that, though, we need to understand a few principles about music. The first thing I do is group music into genres. And there are particular styles of music that are easier to beat match and to mix together. The easiest of all types of music to do this is house music. That's what it's designed for. The second one I would say is electronic dance music, or EDM. Third easiest is breakbeat. And the fourth and the most popular, the one that you're probably going to use the most, is club dance. Once you have them categorized and you have these types of music in your repertoire, your menu of music, then you need to analyze them for their beats. And there are two ways that you analyze them for their beats. First of all, you need to understand dance. And I highly recommend, if you want to be not just a good DJ, but a great DJ, take dance classes. Your school probably has it as an offering. Sometimes there are local dance studios that offer different things. Even something as simple as Zumba. Zumba is super easy and super fun. It's a great workout. You meet lots of people. But I also, encourage you to try some ballroom dance, try some swing, try some Latin. Get used to different rhythms. The musicians that play music have an unspoken agreement with dancers, an unspoken understanding with dancers. And that's the rule of 4, 8, and 16. And that's for most music. Waltz is an exception. It's a 3 and a 6. But for most music, it's a 4, an 8, and a 16. There are 4 main beats, and they pretty much repeat throughout the music, even if there's no drum or rhythm. The musicians are still keeping a 4 beat time, and it repeats every 4. At 8, the musicians usually add an accent of some kind, maybe a cymbal crash or a hi-hat or thump. And you'll start to notice it as you begin to listen to your music specifically for those beats. And then at 16, there's usually a change in the music in some way. Maybe an instrument is introduced or subtracted. That's typically how musicians structure their music, because that's the way dancers have come to think about moving to the music. If a musician decided to do 8 beats and then 3 beats and then 4 beats, it would throw the dancers off. It would not work on the dance floor. So musicians pretty much have to stick to the 4, the 8, and the 16 in order to have people be able to dance. Listening, fine, do whatever you want. But with dance, you've got to have this 4, 8, and 16. So that really helps us as DJs. As long as we understand that the music is going to do things in 4s, 8s, and 16s, then we can play with the music and overlay music knowing that our beats are going to match. Second thing we need to know about beats is the speed of the rhythm, and it's called beats per minute, or BPM. If we want to mix 2 songs together, we look for 2 songs that have similar beats per minute. And they can be different, and our technology allows us to adjust quite a bit. But what I've found is that if I choose some music that is more than 5 beats per minute different from what I'm mixing into, especially if my audience knows the song, it's not going to sound right to them. The last principle that we look to is harmonics. Certain music is in keys, A minor, A major, A sharp minor, A sharp major, and so on and so forth. You categorize your songs into keys, and certain keys tend to mix well. This is all kind of a theory. We call it harmonic mixing, because it doesn't always work. But I've included a chart, and I'm happy to email you another copy so you can have a digital copy if you want. But this chart outlines what mixes well with each other, theoretically. So for example, if you're playing something in E minor, if your next song is E minor, it's going to mix, pretty much guaranteed. If it's A minor or B minor, it will mix with an E minor. And if it's a G major, it probably also will mix well. But if it's an A sharp major, probably not. A G sharp major, probably not, although there are tons of exceptions. So this is just kind of a general guideline, but I found it extremely helpful. I would say 90% of the time, if I'm relying on this, I don't have to have ever heard those songs mixed before to know, be fairly certain that they're going to work well together. So I'm including that in your materials. I'll be sending that, but again, just email me if you want a digital copy. Now, we're going to be talking about your controller here in just a moment, and it should tell you what key each of your songs is in. Most controllers these days do analyze the songs fairly well. They're not always accurate, but they are fairly good, and you can pretty much rely on them to get it accurate. And I'm pretty sure the controller that I'm going to direct you to today has that feature. I say pretty sure because I have an old version of it, and my old version does not. But it's just my practice controller that I bring with me. My controller back in Anchorage has that feature in it. If it doesn't, then a website that you can use to analyze your songs is called tunebat.com. That's tunebat.com, and I will put a link in the description below, so you can jump in there. You hit the key and BPM finder, drag the song into the box that they provide, and it has to upload, so you've got to have an internet connection. It will analyze the song for you. It takes a couple minutes, and then it spits out the information that you need. The other item that I've put here are the modulating steps, and they're pretty easy to remember because it's just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do with the sharps in between. So you don't really need this. But modulation is another way of mixing. Usually when you, again, are taking a lift and then a fade and then lifting into the next one, if you want to build energy, then you modulate up. So you go, if you're playing C, then you play one step up. So the next song is a C sharp, and then the next song is a D, and then it keeps going up like that to build energy. And the audience won't be aware of what you're doing. They'll have kind of a sense of it. They'll feel it more like this party is getting more exciting. Then they will know, oh, he's modulating his steps song by song. You can also decrease the energy of the party by modulating backwards. So, if you're playing a B song, then you step back to an A sharp, and then the next step is an A. So if you're winding down a party at the end of the evening, that's a great way to do it. It lets people kind of calm back down, and it gives them an indication, okay, this party is winding down, it was a great time. And also, if you want to switch sets, there are a couple reasons why you kind of want a party to go in a wave. Usually, songs that are one step off from each other don't mix well, so you don't beat match those. It's just doing the lift, the fade, lifting into the new one. That's the only time I use it. Alright, so let's pull up our computer screen here, and I am going to be sharing with you how I organize the music. As you can see across the bottom panel, this is an Excel spreadsheet. I organize my music using these principles with a spreadsheet. I use Excel, but you can also use the Google Docs spreadsheet for free. The only problem with that is you have to be linked to the internet in order to have access to it. Maybe you can download it right quick, before you do a show, but I use Excel because sometimes I don't have access to the internet and I need to have everything with me. But if you look across the bottom, I've organized in tabs. So this one is house music. In the next tab, I've got EDM. Next tab, breakbeat. And the next tab, which is a huge list, is club dance, because that's what people mostly want to hear when they want to dance. So as you can see, it's my monster file. But all across here, I've got Christian, electro swing, Latin, line dances, very popular for parties. And then slow songs also, because every once in a while I try every half hour to take a break and play a slow song. And then, as you can see, I've got just tons and tons of categories. But they are all divided into the song, the artist, the beats per minute, the key. I also notate if it is a good one to mix, or if it's a good one to lift into another song that's ending. So what we're gonna do is grab your iTunes card, and again, it's your option as to how you want to use this, but my suggestion, if you want to try this, if you want to get into DJing, is to go to, and I know you're an Apple user, I'm an Android user, so there's going to be a little bit of difference here, but the ideas are the same. If you go to the Apple App Store and download an app called DJAY by Algoriddim, I'll show you that here in the App Store. This is a mixer. It's a mixing program. And it is free. Highly rated. I've been using it for years. I love it. The Apple version is different, but it will have more features. And especially if you go to the Pro version. Now, if you go to the Pro version, you're going to have to spend some money on it. I bought it when you just bought it one time and paid one fee, and it's permanently on my tablet. You will have to pay for a subscription now because the new version is subscription based. You don't have to. You can use the free version, and you may want to try the free version for a while, and if you love that, then you can use the $50 for music or whatever else you want with Apple. But if you want to go ahead and give the Pro version a try, go ahead and do it. You've got the gift card to allow you to do that. It's $4.99 a month, or if you want to buy a year subscription, it's $39.99. Once you get that loaded, there is another thing that you can do, and I highly recommend it. And that's why I sent you the Amazon card. There are at least one and maybe two pieces that you'll need in order to use headphones with your mix. And I recommend that you do that anytime that you're going to play live. The headphones allow you to listen to your mix before your audience hears it. So you can check it and make sure that it's working well before you launch it out to the audience. A lot of times I don't use it anymore, especially when I'm practicing. I pretty much never use headphones. I do it all by sight. Before these controllers, that was impossible. It had to be done by listening to the sounds and making sure that the sounds coming from both tracks were in sync. But now the computer pretty much takes care of that for me. So, but I still highly recommend that if you want to try DJing and are interested in moving forward, that you get at least one piece, and you might need two pieces depending on which Apple product that you're using, your phone or your iPad. First of all, you need a Native Instruments, and I'll pull it up here on the a DJ cable. And as you can see here, it's got 3.5 millimeter male to two 3.5 millimeter females. And what this does is it allows your iPad or your iPhone to split the signal between what's going to your headphones and what's going out through your speaker to your audience. And there will be a little icon on each of the female ends, one telling you to plug in your headphones and the other to plug into the 3.5 millimeter that goes out to your speaker. And if you're just playing a dorm party, you can use a JBL Flip or any one of a number of things, as long as it has a 3.5 millimeter connection. I have a Flip 4 and it has a 3.5 millimeter. I didn't get some, JBL has some upgraded products, but they don't have the 3.5 millimeter, and I definitely wanted that. So I got an older version. It was less expensive, and it works great. And so if you have a speaker, you'll probably see that it has a 3.5 millimeter connection also. So, and the other thing that I think that you may need, and let's go back to the computer here, is this Apple USB-C to 3.5 millimeter. The newer generations of Apple iPhones got rid of the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and so you got to create one, and this adapter is how you do that. Anyways, you got your gift card, so you can use that, but you don't have to. I mean, if you want to try to teach yourself how to do this, you certainly can do it without splitting that signal. You can just stick your headphone directly in, or if you're trying to do it Bluetooth, you can, but there's a little bit of latency, and so I don't like to do Bluetooth. I like it directly connected because the sound is instantaneous into my headphones while I'm listening. So you've got your Algoriddim DJ program downloaded, and you're ready to go with that, so let me start mine. It was called DJ2 when I bought my version. Okay, traditional turntable. It looks pretty similar to the turntables on the days of old, but I think that it has kind of a fun look. That's another reason why this is one of my favorite controllers. But if you look on mine, you see there are two blinking music notes above each of the turntables, and that's the first thing. Well, actually, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start it recording, because that is how I'm going to get this into your tutorial. So hopefully I got that right. Otherwise, I'm going to have to mix it when I can see this a little better. It's getting pretty sunny out here. All right, so we're going to load a track. So I'm going to load the left first. But let me switch and show you what I'm doing here on my mixes. I'm going to be using all music from, there's a label called Spinnin' Records, and they have a YouTube channel that's called Spinnin' No Copyright, and that allows me to put their music on YouTube without having to worry about copyright infringement. They've given permission to anybody to be able to produce a video on YouTube and use their music. They get the credit for it, and I always try and list them, the song and the artist. Thank Spinnin' Records for the use of the music in the notes below the video. But it's just a great music label, especially if you're really into dance music. They have a lot of artists that are very good. But I'm going to start the mix down in B minor. It's the song called Nightcall. So let's go back to the mixer. Let's open up our panel. Now, it used to be that we could mix out of Spotify, but I believe that they discontinued that feature, so I don't even think it works on mine anymore. I never used it. But... Okay, man, the light is pretty bright now, so I am going to have to move over to another table. Okay, now I'm pressing record on Algoriddim, so we'll get the sound for that. And what we'll do is we'll load that first track from my music, and we're going to go to Nightcall. And now you can see that it's loaded, and you see across the top there we've got some waveforms that kind of shows the way that the sound is going to be produced in a kind of graphical format. And the more that you play with this, the more that those graphics are going to be easier and easier for you to understand. In the bottom middle, we've got our mixer, our crossfader rather. I'm going to set that over to the side that we're going to play. Now, this side, the only thing that we're going to hear is what we have on the left turntable. Mix it over here. The only thing that we hear is the right side. And here, they're both blended evenly. And then it's just a kind of a variation of amounts of each one in between there. We're going to go ahead and start our first track. Now notice that the song has a beat right off the bat, and so this one could be mixed pretty easily, and extended mixes tend to have that feature where you've got plenty of beat to mix into another song, but it also had kind of a lift as well. So, but again, you can hear that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how that changed? Now, when we understand that, then we know that the next track we can do the same thing. And so I look here, I'm like, oh, what should I do next? Okay, well, stay is also B minor, and it's a mixer. It's 5 beats per minute faster, so we're going to have to compensate for that, but that's not a problem. So go back to our mixer. Hit the load button. Stay. Now I can start stay, but you can't hear it because the mixer is over on the left-hand side, so it's only shooting the left hand. Now if you had that attachment that did the splitting, you could send, there would be an extra button at the bottom here, and it looks like headphones, I believe, on yours. And you hit that, and you can listen what's on the other side. But it kind of plays just like a record. So now I've got both of them on. You can hear this one. Yeah, you can scratch. A lot of fun to play with these things. But I'm going to go ahead and cue stay to mix in, so I'm going to send this all the way over. I'm going to send stay back to the beginning. I'm going to use this EQ button in the kind of the upper right hand corner. I'm going to tap that, and I'm going to hit the loop button. And now it's ready to take a loop. I've got to take it in, I've got to show it where it comes in and where it goes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I've got an 8-beat loop. But do they match? Does it mix? Well, no, because this is at 125 on the right, and I've got 120 on the left. So what I do is I can either take this slider on the far right down to 120. That's one way to do it. But another way is just hit sync. Super easy. Do they match? Yes, they do. When it's out of sync, the lines won't line up. When I hit sync, they do. Now, I don't know that I have my 1, 2, 3, 4 exactly the same. I kind of play with it. In. It's not bad, it'll work. I'll go ahead and mix it in. Now we're hearing Nightcall kind of fade out, but Stay is still there. Go back to our turntables and release Stay by hitting the loop button. Super easy. And now you can see the waveform that it's about to dive. And so that's the time that I kind of bring the tempo up.
Please hold me close and let me stay until the sunrise.
I never do it when there's vocals.
Just say you'll hold me forever, at least for
It's too obvious.
tonight.
All right, we're done with the one on the left. So, oops. Let's see.
And pull me closer tonight, keep holding my hand. I know this ain't love, but let me stay the night.
Bring up my Excel spreadsheet.
Let me stay a while.
Now, something special
Let me stay a while.
is 125 beats per minute. It's in the key of EM, which, according to our harmonic mixing chart, is supposed to mix well. So I'm going to bring up something special. Moving my crossfader over to the right-hand side, closing up the mix. And since the crossfader is on the right, the audience is not hearing anything that I'm doing on the left. Again, bring up the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I'll wait till a stronger beat. It'll be easier to count. Have some of my pineapple.
I know how this works, I got my ABCs right. Oh, so let's play pretend.
There's that beat.
Say you'll be the one
7,
for me.
8. 1, 2, 3, 9, 6, 7. Play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Out. Now they're both at 125 beats per minute. So, are they accurately mixed? Doesn't look like it. Now you can kind of hand bump it. But I just think it's easier to hit the sync button on the left. That looks pretty good. Let's see what kind of beats we can bring in now. I'm just testing it by sliding the crossfader to the middle. And this is introducing the audience to a sound that's coming up. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now in. Release the loop. Now on the same menu here, we've got EQ. We can increase the bass with the lows. cut it out, back, mid-high, mid-cut, and back, high, cut, mid. Play with some effects. Echo. You just touch that grid anywhere you want. Flanger. I'll put my finger on the grid and just drag it around. A lot of fun things to play with that. I'm going to close that up. Now, after I told you the rules, I'm going to break them a little bit here to show you that you can. Back on our menu, I'm going to play something that will not mix. C sharp, if you look at your chart, does not mix with B minor. C sharp minor doesn't mix with B minor. According to the theory. Well, let's try it. This time I'm doing 4. I was too late on that one. I should have mixed it in much easier or much more soon, but it still mixed pretty well. So that again shows that when it comes to DJing, the rules are meant to be broken. It kind of depends on what you have and what you're working with, and just practicing with different things. And it's like sometimes things that should not work at all, they still do. And there are plenty of other little things to play with in here. I won't have time to show them all, but there's some pads. You can add your own hi-hat. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or add a kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, walk. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I missed that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, kick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, snare. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, snare. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, foghorn. But that's the basics of it. Once you get that looping down, you can beat match pretty much any, call them synthetic beats. Anything that's computer generated is usually right on. And so you can absolutely mix them together. Those rules help a lot, but be creative and have fun with it. Do your own thing. And then move with it, you know? If you're not enjoying it, Your crowd probably isn't going to either. If this is something that you're interested in, you find you're really enjoying yourself, once you are in college, you may have some opportunities to explore, especially if there is a volunteer radio station either on campus or there might be some opportunities at some of the other radio stations, or somebody has started a station and is looking for DJs. Hop in there. But also, there are a lot of other educational materials. I'm pretty much self-taught, and I have a long ways to go and a lot to learn. But that's one of the fun things I think about DJing, is that there's just a lot to continuously learn and update myself and try. And one of the big ways that I do that is on YouTube. There are a lot of people that are willing to share a lot of tips and tricks and ways of doing things. I've also read a number of books, and if you're interested in doing this as a business, I highly recommend the Mobile DJ Handbook by Stacy Zeman. I read this and I was like, okay, I think I can make money at this. And did I? Not really. I mean, I basically bought way too much equipment because I had the money to do it. But the information that she provides is incredibly valuable in terms of setting up your mobile DJ business. If you're interested in doing weddings and parties and school dances, and that's any one of a number of different opportunities where people need you to bring equipment in and set it up and then tear it down. You don't make a lot of money at it, but you can make some money. I generally don't do a show that doesn't pay me at least $500, and some of my shows I charge $3,000, so but I've got a ton of equipment that I can move in for like big corporate events and play in bigger areas. But if you have a tablet, if you have a speaker and a tip jar, and you just throw a dorm party, then you can make a few bucks if people will throw a couple dollars into your tip jar, especially if your music is such that they can come and they can request a song. I will usually, if I go and request a song, if the DJ plays it, then I'll go and throw $5, $10 in their tip jar. Some people might throw $1 or $2 in, but still, you might walk away at the end of the day with a few bucks in your pocket. Your lunch money for the next day. A lot of fun things to do. I'm experimenting right now with DJing online using Zoom rooms, doing a Zoom dance party. So DJing is music and a way to send it out to the people who want to dance to it. So whatever you come up with, it's going to be awesome. Finally, I just want to encourage you, Edmond, that as you're going forward, things are going to change. College is a lot different than high school. A lot more opportunities to pursue the things that you are interested in. And so I just encourage you to seek the purpose that God has for you in this life. It, sometimes takes many years to explore and discover what that is, but One of the ways that I've found that God speaks through me is by putting passions in me. I ask myself, what am I passionate about? What do I absolutely look forward to getting out of bed in the morning in order to do? And I think those are the things that God has set before us as missions that God wants us to accomplish in our life. He gives us, talent, maybe, but oftentimes it's opportunity to develop in those talents. And some people have said, it takes 10,000 hours at something in order to master it. And if that's the case, then I've got a ways to go at DJing. I think as I explore my purpose, or God's purpose for me, the way that I know that I'm on track is if, when challenges arise, I stick with it. Throughout my life I've been challenged, I've been tested, I've quit many things, I've given up, I've failed and decided, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. And so my thinking is that wasn't something that has to do with God's mission for me. The mission are the things that, when the going got tough, I persevered and I just kept working at. And if it is a mission, and it is God's purpose for me, and I believe that every single time when I thought there's no way through this, there's no way to overcome this obstacle, there's no way to get it done, but just sticking to it and trusting that that's what God needs me to do, continuously praying about it, reading the Bible, talking with my Christian brothers and sisters about it. But God will send me encouragement, because every single time when I've become discouraged in the things that I believe are my missions, He's carried me through them. And it hasn't been through my power, but through God's power. That is when I am at the most defeated, when I am at the most failed, and God's purpose continues to flow forward, and I get to be a part of it, and I get to witness that. I get to watch the miracles take place. Those are the wow moments in my life. So I pray going forward that God has a million wow points for you. Just continue to seek them through the wonderful successes that you have and through the absolutely marvelous failures that you have. They're all a part of God's plan for you. I am open to any thoughts, any feedback that you have on this video. If you want to get a hold of me, you've got my email. You can certainly give me a call. If you're in Anchorage on Mondays from 7 to 9 p.m., I'm going to do a Zoom party. I'm going to try that anyway for the first 40 minutes of each practice session, but I do practice from 7 to 9 p.m. every Monday. So you're welcome to come and join me. Just let me know that you're coming, and sometimes other DJs show up and we just share ideas and we practice together and critique each other and have a lot of fun dancing while each of us is playing. So you're welcome to join us. But best of luck to you at school this year and in the coming years. I don't know what that's going to look like. It's a strange and different time, but it could be an amazing time. Lord bless you. Cheers.